Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. It is indeed. And it's time, we're gonna make some dinner. I'm gonna give everyone a chance to come on while I finish getting my life together, getting all the prep stuff out. First thing you're gonna wanna do, preheat your oven, 425. Make sure in the middle rack is in the center. Just kind of, so yes. First thing. You may have seen me say a couple times that I prefer to cook, especially chicken, at a higher temperature for a lower amount of time because it keeps it moist without drying out, and you can't go wrong with that. I mean, seriously, that's the best. So, I'm gonna finish getting everything out. You need 3 cups of cherry tomatoes. You need 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of honey, 4-ish cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of fresh basil, half teaspoon of onion powder and dried thyme, 8 ounces of mozzarella. We're gonna start with that. And then make sure your oven is preheated, 425, rack in the center. Start with the stuff that's going to take the longest. That's going to be preheating the oven, of course, and then we're going to get everything started for the chicken and the tomatoes because that's going to go in the oven. Then we'll start our potatoes. So they're not going to take as long. In here. Make sure you clean your tomatoes if you haven't yet. I opted for the pretty ones. You eat with your eyes first, so pick the pretty stuff, especially if it's available. We all like pretty things. You're gonna half them however you would like. I usually go diagonally down the center. And the dog and the squirrel are playing with each other in the background. It's good times. So you're gonna want, I got 2 small containers of these, maybe about 3 cups. Just chop them real quick after you've cleaned them, of course. If you're just coming on, make sure you preheat your oven to 425. You're gonna wanna put all of this in something that is oven friendly. I love my cast iron. I use cast iron for basically everything that's imaginable. So of course that's what I'm going to use for this, but make sure it's an oven safe pan that you are throwing this greatness into. And I had to keep it darker in here today because it's much easier on my eyes than to have that. And if we're being honest, this is normal. This is usually the atmosphere and the ambiance I request for cooking, so it's factual. And almost done with these. And it's a lot. If you haven't already gotten everything out, go ahead and do it because it makes it much easier to have it out and present versus hunting it down. That also makes you less likely to forget an important ingredient. I forgot to add eggs to muffins once. Now I get everything out and I just measure it out, spread it out, whatever is necessary or easiest. If I'm cooking, she swears that they're playing. I think the squirrel thinks they're playing too. I'll measure it out, but otherwise, like with the scale, measure it out, because precise, that's good. But honestly, if I'm cooking, I'm more likely to just wing it based on the color or flavor. All right, now we are gonna get our butter here I'm gonna get some balsamic vinegar. Now, this is Penelope. Bam. So you want a really good balsamic vinegar. I really suggest investing in a good one because it's well worth it. You want it to be thick, like a syrup. If your vinegar is like super thin, it's not gonna have any flavor. So invest in the good stuff. This stuff came from Amazon. This stuff, there's a place in downtown Tarpon that has olive oil and balsamic vinegars, and they're flavored, they're infused. They bottle them fresh for you. You can flavor, you know, go through and taste all of them. That's not my thing. I'll take their word for it, but taste testing balsamics and no. But, however, this one is fantastic. I've used it a few times now. It's a Neapolitan herb, and this is just a really good thick balsamic. So I'll do a tablespoon each of those because I like to, you know, keep it spicy. I also, anytime I'm measuring out honey, especially honey, balsamic also counts as it. Anything that's really thick and sticky, I spray whatever it is with cooking spray. Comes out much easier. You're welcome. So let's start with our 2 tablespoons of balsamic. Do one of each of these. So I want you to see how thick, and I wish you could hear the gurgle because it gurgles coming out. So let's do one of those. This one's a little bit thinner, but so good. Put that on there. Let's go ahead and put our butter in here. Do our honey, 1 tablespoon of honey. Don't judge my honey container. I use it a lot for baking, I promise. But a little bit of patience. Look at that, almost perfectly cleaned out. I'll take that as a win. All right, I'm gonna use grab a spatula and a wooden spoon. Get this nice mix up in here. So you get that balsamic, get that honey, get it all mixed together in there. Get those tomatoes all coated with deliciousness. All right, now we're gonna put our garlic in. You can mince it, you can smash it, whatever makes your heart happy. I'm gonna opt for smashing today because, yeah, it makes me feel good. It's like a form of therapy. So 4-ish, depends on how many vampires you plan on encountering. If it says 4, I'm going at least 6. I like to measure my vanilla and my garlic with my soul and a very heavy hand. So, and no, I will not be attacked by vampires anytime soon. I mean, so the garlic going in there. Now I'm okay with just smashing it up like this because it's going to give me all the flavor I need. In this, you know, particular instance, sometimes mincing it is better. Smashing works this time. See, right? This is garlic mac. This is, you measure it with your heart. I'm glad you see my wisdom here. Thank you, Natalie. All right, we're gonna get some fresh basil. Fresh, out of the yard. Well, out of my yard because I grew it. It doesn't naturally grow there for most people unless you put it there. But I try to keep basil in hand because I use it so often. I have oregano and I have some lemon. That's really it. I don't have any other fresh herbs that I have been able to ignore and baby long enough to survive. So we're just gonna chop this up really good. It should smell very aromatic. All of the fresh basil. If I need it sliced, I usually just take some scissors to it. Because that's also in here. I love these cutting boards for this very reason. I can swap them out easily and bend them. All right, we don't need the stems though. Oh, this smells so good already. Like, seriously. All right, now we are going to have a half a teaspoon of onion powder and half a teaspoon of dry thyme in here. Thyme is one of those flavors, the dried herb version, I mean, that I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm not the biggest fan of thyme, period, honestly. Just maybe as a whole, it's not my thing. But it can be very, very overpowering. So that's a spice that I tend to go pretty easy with. If anything, I'll scale it back a little bit because it affects me differently. Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot for me. Okay, that's it. So now we're gonna grab our chicken. We're gonna make 2 little nests here in our beautiful tomato greatness. I'm gonna put our chicken in here. So, chicken should be marinating. Now, another tip, wise words I'm gonna share with you. If you buy chicken breasts, I want you to look at the size of the breast that you're getting. If the breast is the size of a chicken that you would be scared of, you shouldn't get it. Spend the extra money. It doesn't necessarily have to be organic, but get something that is not grossly huge because, first of all, it's not good for you. I don't care what they say. You shouldn't be eating chicken that is grown that big. And usually it doesn't have good flavor. I go to Sam's and get this, I don't know what it's called, if the package is in there, I'm not going to get it out and like drop any names, but just make sure whenever you get, especially chicken, because you can gauge it, it's an appropriate size. Like a chicken breast shouldn't be this big. That's just not, no. So this guy, he's big, but it's not like, I feel like I could fight that chicken and win. Like, I stand a chance. And that's all that matters. So we marinated, I marinated my chicken last night. So this has got 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of white cooking wine, 3-ish garlic cloves, half teaspoon of red pepper flakes, half teaspoon of Italian herbs, and then chicken. Recipe calls for 4. I'm doing 2 because there's 2 people in this house and I don't need to cook an excessive amount. Getting better about sizing things down. So, our 2 normally sized chicken breasts from chickens that we could fight and win, put them in here. Just look at that. Made a little nest for them in here. Okay, so my oven just beeped and said it is preheated. So we are gonna take this beautiful cast iron pan with all of this deliciousness. Look at that. All right, we're gonna put it in the oven. We're gonna go 18, 20-ish minutes. Once again, depends on the size of your chicken breast. If you have an obnoxiously large chicken breast, I suggest either filleting it or cooking it until tomorrow sometime. It might be done. Yes. So, in the meantime, we are gonna get all of this stuff cleaned up and move on to the next step for our potatoes. I love to put this sauce over mashed potatoes, so that's why we're doing potatoes tonight. And there's going to be a mozzarella on top of the chicken. So we're going to do Parmesan and our potatoes. And you've probably heard me say, if you haven't, please take note. Do not buy shredded cheese. Just don't do it. There's absolutely no reason for you to do that. Buy it and shred it yourself. Put it in the food processor, do whatever you have to do, but do not buy shredded cheese. It has no flavor. They put crap in there to keep it from doing melty things together. Just skip it. And if you get mozzarella, you want the soft, squishy kind. Do not get a brick of mozzarella. That's not mozzarella. Don't do that. You want this. This is fresh, it's going to melt so beautifully. It's gonna taste amazing. It's gonna suck shredding it, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. In the meantime, we are going to finish doing the cheese for the potatoes. Some fresh Parmesan. Now, if you've cooked with Parmesan before, you know this cheese doesn't melt easily. It's a hard cheese, and it's just not melter friendly unless you take a torch to it, or unless you are cooking at an excessively high temperature. I don't know about you, but that's not how I cook my potatoes. So, speaking of that, go ahead and get your water going for your potatoes. There we go. So, beautifully softened shredded cheese. Alright, water boiling for our potatoes. Another little hint, because you're getting all of them tonight. This stuff. This stuff is fantastic. I put a little of this and a little of that. No, I put it in my water when I'm boiling potatoes. I put it in my water when I'm boiling vegetables. I put it in my water when I'm doing rice. Just adds a nice little bit of flavor to it, which you can appreciate. Now I have little baby creamer potatoes. They make my life easy. But I am going to just cut them in half, just to help with them getting some flavored juice from the bouillon. Ooh, went away. So I got my water boiling already. This will help them cook a little bit quicker too. And I have to say, I'm very happy with my playlist tonight. I'm truly digging my music, and it's taking everything in me to not, you know, start dancing. It's not like I'm a party, and I know that. So I'm gonna act accordingly. Alright, potatoes are one of those things that I used to make an excessive amount of. I used to make an excessive amount of everything when my daughter was in the house, because we had leftovers and she would eat it or somebody would eat it, and now scaled back. So let's throw a little of this in my water. I'm gonna do just like a heaping tablespoon in there. And I'm gonna throw my potatoes in there before the water starts boiling and making a mess. Alright. Those are in. Okay, we've got our Parmesan done. Let's chop up our mozzarella. You can't shred this stuff. I don't care what it doesn't shred, it just comes apart in your hand. This stuff is pre-sliced, but even it just doesn't make a difference. You see? See how beautiful that is? Oh, so beautiful. Alright, so we're going to want this pretty finely shredded because we want it to melt over the chicken, and it will take longer if it's thicker. So we're just going to do it kind of small. Since it's sliced, it comes apart a little bit more too in my hands, which is nice. Has anybody seen the prices of cheese lately though? Seriously. Well, not just cheese, it's everything. But, good lord. I can smell the garlic that we beat up earlier in there. It smells delightful. So you should have learned a few tips already, such as always buy block cheese and shred it yourself. Buy soft mozzarella, the squishy kind. Cast iron is superior cookware, most cases. Not gonna lie, it's not my favorite thing to cook eggs in. Although I will say, so I learned something this week that I legit have not met anybody that knew this so far. So, I only recently, within the last couple of years, spent the money on a good set of stainless steel cookware. Went to Berghoff, got, you know, beautiful stainless steel. What a pain in the ass that stuff is to cook on. Seriously, no matter what I did, every time something would stick, no matter what. It was so aggravating. So my stainless steel has been sitting under the cabinet, just holding up the other pans because honestly, it wasn't happening. So someone sent me a video. Fee, if you're watching it, I believe it was you. And what you're supposed to do when you're heating up your not your cast iron, but your stainless steel. So you put it on the oven, on the stovetop, and always preheat your pan naked. Do not put oil in it first. Always preheat it naked. I don't care what kind of pan it is, preheat it naked. So anyway, what you're gonna do is you're gonna let it preheat, and then you're gonna throw some water on it. And if the water evaporates automatically, your pan's not ready. Apparently, stainless steel has a skin, and the pores are open still. So what you're supposed to do is wait for, when you put water in, for it to do like the whole little mercury balls in the bottom, and it's spinning around and the water doesn't evaporate automatically. That means your pan is preheated, the pores have closed back up, and nothing's gonna stick. Let me tell you, this shit worked. I made eggs in my stainless steel pan, and they did not stick. I was completely shocked, completely awestruck, and just, wow. Now, the crappy thing is once the pan has done some cooking and it loses its temperature, those pores kind of open back up and stuff starts to stick again. However, it works. So, I encourage you to get your stainless steel pan out, throw it on the stovetop, heat it up, and wait until you get the mercury balls, and then use it. And then tell me how wonderfully it worked. Because everybody I've talked to so far has done it and it's worked. And not only that, everybody I've talked to did not know it. People like my dear friend Elena, who went to culinary school. She did not know this. This is madness. This is madness. So yes, I encourage you to give it a try, because now I can use my stainless steel pans and not feel like a complete schmuck because I've stuck things to the bottom of it. Like, talk about feeling like a failure. Leave it to just getting stuff stuck to your pan to be like, I'm not made for this. This is stuff. And to clean it. All right, rant over. But, so see, you should have learned so much useful stuff today already that, I mean, just, I'm a plethora of random knowledge. Okay, so I'm not going to use fresh garlic. I will use garlic powder for my mashed potatoes. So I can put this greatness away. Ow, it stabbed me. Balsamic came from me. All right. Now we have got some greatness here for our potatoes, which are boiling now. Food stove's boiled over. Chicken. That should be looking pretty fantastic. It is. Now should grab some more basil. I have on hand. Like, I don't have sour cream today. So heavy cream will work. Because you have to improvise. See? You didn't know either. Go try it, Erin, and let me know, because it's a game changer, because then you can use your stainless steel and you don't. I have a beautiful pan over there that I used earlier. Nothing is stuck to the bottom. I made eggs and I used bacon fat as the grease because, yes, I'm that girl. I keep bacon grease on hand and I use it all the time. It's wonderful. I use it for eggs in the morning. Use that with my hot. Oh, it worked beautifully. And I have this beautiful little round metal cookie cutter that keeps them perfectly sized to go on an English muffin. I got this whole breakfast thing figured out, guys. And if you are not putting everything bagel seasoning on your eggs, you're totally missing the ball. And Aldi has an Asiago flavored one. That's pretty spectacular. Just saying. Now, even though I have a KitchenAid, I much prefer to do my mashed potatoes old school with the hand mixer. There are some crazy people that I know that still do it by hand. I'm not that girl. I'm not about that. That's not happening. Alright. The stuff cleaned up. Got our butter there. Let's get our garlic out. One of those things, whatever I have on hand is going in it. That's how some recipes are. That's how mashed potatoes are for me. So I'm gonna do some Parmesan, do some garlic, do some minced onion. I don't have any sour cream, so I'm gonna do some heavy cream, some half and half. And I like them beat pretty well, I have to say. Like, I'm not a big fan of lumpy mashed potatoes. It's not my thing. So if you use broth in your water has turned like this beautiful color now too on top of it. Oh. Okay, so I need a bowl for the potatoes once they are done. And doing this to myself. Go ahead and dump all of my. Now, I could tell you the measurements for that. You saw I didn't measure it. It's kind of like up there with garlic and vanilla again. You're gonna measure it with your heart and your soul. A very heavy hand. Very heavy. A little black garlic. If you've not used black garlic, it's pretty awesome. The weird thing is that it leaves weird spots in your food, but I'm a fan of it. And Trader Joe's has a good situation of it. I'm gonna add just a little bit of Penzeys roasted garlic. This stuff is super potent. So clearly, as you can tell with the amount of garlic that has been consumed in these recipes, I'll be safe from monsters. because there was what, 5, 6-ish cloves in there. A little bit more in here. Yeah, we're good. The Asiago, everything, amazing. Just the regular, the stuff is, you'll put it on everything. And it doesn't matter how you cook your eggs. Scramble them, throw it on. Fry them, throw it on. Making a quiche, throw it in. All right, so we're gonna check our chicken here, see where we're at. Use 2 of these because it's the big pan. So if you're cooking in a cast iron, you already know that everything cooks a little bit quicker. It cooks so evenly and beautiful. So we're only at 120. We got a little bit to go in here. Keep it in there until 165. I'm going to switch mine over to convection bake because that seems to speed things up a little bit. Right. Let's put this stuff away. Salt. Forgot salt. Alright, so like everything else, I like it fresh. But I do grind it over my hand simply so I can gauge how much it is. Because there's nothing like just going thinking it's hardly nothing and you can't take it back. You can always add to it, but you can't take it back after it's there. Let's give that a good mix in here. So if this is something I'm gonna put back in the oven, like I want my potatoes with a crunchy top or something, then sometimes I'll throw an egg in. It all depends. But we're gonna keep it simple tonight. Break some butter up and that's about it. Got the mozzarella, that's gonna go on our chicken. We're gonna put that on when it hits about 130-ish, give or take. And we'll bump up the oven to broil at the very end because you can't have cheese without the bubbly, crispy greatness. That would be blasphemous. One side of the sink cleared out for the potatoes. Alright, so to go back over everything, we marinated our chicken. I did mine overnight because if it says to do it for an hour, do it for 5. If it says do it, for an hour, do it overnight. It's just gonna add to the flavor. You eat because it's delicious. Give it a chance to be delicious. So, your marinade that you want to go at least 6 hours. Overnight is always my preferred. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of white cooking wine, or the drinking kind, whatever blows your skirt up. I'm not here to judge you. 3-ish cloves of garlic, minced or smashed, your preference. 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, the herb kind, not the dressing, the herb kind. And then your chicken breasts. Remember, you want chicken breasts that are sizable, like something that you feel safe eating, that you should not have a chicken breast that is this size. Once again, you should not be buying chicken breasts that are this big. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Oh, imagine fighting that chicken. That's the philosophy. That's what you have to remember when you're buying chicken. Could I fight this chicken and win? If not, don't buy that chicken. All right, so that's our marinade. For what's in the oven right now, we've got 3 cups-ish of cherry tomatoes that we cut in half. We've got 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, which is good balsamic. It's thick, it's rich, and it's amazing. Spend the money. Don't buy the cheap stuff. 1 tablespoon of honey, 4-ish cloves of garlic. What did I do? 6-ish? Do that minced or smashed. Whatever blows your skirt up. It's been one of those days. Smash it. 2 tablespoons of fresh basil chopped. 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme. Remember, thyme can be one of those spices that can be very overpowering. Don't go crazy with it. Measure accordingly. If it's one of those seasonings that you're not too crazy with, scale it back a little bit. I'm not a fan of thyme. I scaled it back. Then we have our 8 ounces of fresh, squishy mozzarella. Remember, we want squish. We want the soft mozzarella. I don't care if you do whole fat or part skim, that part doesn't matter. Just make sure it's fresh, good mozzarella. For the love of all things cheese. And don't buy block cheese. So that's it. Like, this is so a simple meal. We are going on about 40 minutes in, and everything is in the oven. Things are almost done. That's beautiful. Oh, we have from scratch. Those are rock stars. Like, serious. Oh, and my potatoes are good. Hey, beautiful. Now, I typically use creamer or red potatoes so I don't have to peel the skin. Because I'm lazy. And I just prefer to not have to peel potatoes. So I go for the ones that don't have to be peeled. So now, do you see why I put all of the cold stuff on the bottom? Oh, genius. Once again, we'll keep it old school. Flavor test, because if you are not tasting your food as you go, you are doing it wrong. Do you know why you're doing it wrong? Because you don't know it's wrong. Place it down at your table with everyone else, and you're like, oh, this doesn't taste good. You don't want that. These potatoes, however, are fantastic. Add a little more cream, because I didn't have sour cream. Got my black specks from my black garlic. Hey, beautiful. If you're not talking to your food, I also suggest you doing that. That's amazing. Winner. All right. Now, put the cheese added to this chicken. Let's get a hot plate first. This is hot as hell. Alright. beautiful. Now, we take this beautiful, soft and squishy cheese. Put it right here on top. You don't have to use all this. If you're making 4 breasts, it'll make more sense than just the 2 that I have here. All right. Now I'm going to cook my oven up to broil on low. There's absolutely no reason you should ever use broil on high for anything, ever. It's absolutely not necessary. Unless you're trying to like burn a body or something, which even then, I'm pretty sure your oven's not gonna get hot enough. So don't ever try to broil anything on high. It's just, there's no point. Broil on low to melt some cheese is where it's at though. Now there's some leftover cheese. Got our potatoes done over there. Couple dishes, not too bad. Let's turn the oven light on. That's another thing. Anytime you're broiling, make sure your oven light is on, because this is something you should be watching pretty regularly. You can't just trust that things are doing what they're supposed to and not more. You gotta keep an eye on it. You can wreck an entire meal by thinking, oh, I got time. Everything is okay. No. No. Do not burn your dinner. Don't ever cook on high. And don't ever cook without the light on. If you don't have an oven light, replace that shit because you need an oven light. It's, I promise you it's good for things. Like keeping an eye on my chicken. That soft cheese. It's getting all melty. It's just spreading everywhere. It's so pretty. Tomatoes are getting a little bit of char on the top. The pieces of garlic are caramelized beautifully. So all of the juices from those tomatoes have now cooked out. So that's gonna be a beautiful sauce to put on top of those mashed potatoes. Hence my plan. All about, I had a plan for this. I know what tastes good and that's what tastes good. Because I don't want to get the torch out. I could, but that feels like cheating. And I don't want to cheat at this point. We've come too far. And the oven was far too hot to move that thing back up. So, oh, hello, melty beautifulness. Hey. You should seriously talk to your food. Talk to your plants, talk to your animals. Talk to people nicely. Just be nice. I mean, you don't have to all the time, but you should most of the time. I can't say you should all the time because I don't do it all the time. But don't be hateful for no reason. How about that? That seems much more fair. Now I understand why my dogs are upset because they're hungry. They're like, hey, why haven't you fed us yet? What's going on? What did we do? Am I the only person whose dogs get leftovers? Coconut curry chicken? That's what the dogs are getting for dinner tonight. They eat better than people, I know. Oh yes, we're browning up. Hey. Tomatoes are browned up nicely on the top. The cheese is all melted, but it's not smothered everything because cheese is nice, but you don't want to drown in it. And it will absolutely overtake if you allow it. You're ready to eat. We're okay, what's up? That's part of doing it for it, so. Sometimes it's just easier because I know my chicken's cooked and I absolutely don't want to overcook it just to brown some cheese. It's quite ridiculous how often this is used, honestly, for melting cheese or just giving a nice crunch on things. I used it for corn the other day. Oh, yes. This is a good call. I feel good about this. Ta-da! My friends, in under an hour, it's been about 45 minutes. With greatness. Look at how beautiful that is. I wish you could smell it. I don't want to get my face any closer because it's really hot. However, you guys just rocked out a delicious meal. You got to listen to me ramble on for 45 minutes about all kinds of odd, unknown things. And here we are. So, I'm ridiculously hungry. So, I'm going to dish this up and go, you know, stuff my face with greatness. Let's get this out of my way first because I will absolutely lean into it and burn myself. I've come too far for that. So, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for cooking with me. Thank you for watching. Whatever it is, I appreciate it. And I will see everyone soon. Have a great night.